look so wonderful in your dress. I love your hair like that, the way it falls on the side of your neck, down your shoulders and back. We are surrounded by all of these lies, and people who talk too much. You got the kind of look in your eyes as if no one knows anything but us. Should this be the last thing I see? Should you know it's enough for me? It's all that you are.
With an unconventional love comes an unconventional twist. We ask our wedding parties and guests to please take your seat.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's performance of Happily Ever After, the true story. Please note that any recording of this performance, either video or photograph, is highly encouraged. This production is being professionally recorded for commercial distribution. If there are any children in the audience that are not fans of the performance, please remove them from the theater as soon as possible. If there are any adults in the audience who are not fans of the performance, be nice. Or leave. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Our love is not just...
Our love is not just an emotion we feel for each other, or acts that define our existence together.
No, our love is fact.
For reference, the definition of a fact is a thing that is indisputably the case.
Weddings have been held for various reasons throughout the ages.
Joining of families,
Politics,
money,
religion,
but at its purest form, the idea of a wedding is to prove the existence and commitment to love.
love. Creation is most often found in the wake of necessity.
Our need to understand our corresponding definitions of soulmate gave birth to an endless stream of hypotheses and theories.
But only one of enough magnitude adequate to do it justice, proving that our love is more than feelings between two people, but instead a fact.
Our theory states that living objects have vectors of equilibrium. Abbreviation?
Love. Looking backwards and forwards, we became aware that our love lives on an unalterable timeline, that we are light colliding in a particle accelerator. We are the crossed paths of electrons, only when combined create a sense of harmony, not just within ourselves, but instead lending balance to the universe itself.
Like all science, we started at the beginning asking ourselves, how did this cosmic collision of creation and collective caring come to be?
Was it fate, destiny, serendipity?
No. We call ours...
Curtis.
I remember that day I came to New York.
I came to work.
It was an amazing Friday.
It was just another Friday
In New York, concrete jungle...
that had me locked down in the office. My workday droned on dull like any day before it, but this one was different. I remember the first time we met.
It was October 25th, 2013.
It was right around 4 p.m.
There I was in New York City. The abundance of energy and excitement overshadowed the very buildings encasing it.
The shackles of the New York City humdrum were at their tightest in the waning hours before the weekend.
One more friend to see
One more
on this
person to
journey.
meet and I was done. I
I
told
promised
Curtis I'd
I'd
pop
stop by.
in. Then I saw her. Those shackles were now the only ties preventing me from getting lost in the brightening blue skies that I found neatly folded and safe in her eyes.
The energy of the city froze. The pulse seemed to stop within the veins and arteries of its streets.
All movement stopped, flickered, and then, as if every collective footstep constituted a piece of my heartbeat. The consciousness of the city erupted. I had to play it cool, so I asked, "So, what's your type of music?"
You mean my favorite song, genre, artist?
I didn't recall eating butterflies for breakfast. I gave her a USB stick filled with music, ranging from
Bum, 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 bum. I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, Scaramouche.
and we do the fandango,
Thunderbolts and lightning.
very, very frightening me.
Galileo.
Galileo, Galileo.
Galileo.
To songs like
All my exes live in this. That's why I hang my head in NYC.
all the way to,
I will
imagine that.
free all my sons. Love them all.
An eclectic mix whose heartbeat matched my own as I said goodbye and handed her a business card with my number on the back, a small fact I failed to mention that was not discovered until Monday, a day now 1,100 miles away.
The space between us was now diminished by the breaths and the words that we shared, which, at this point, were non-existent. It didn't occur to me that I even had his number until Monday. And by occur, I mean...
Thank you, Curtis. That Monday night, my excitement rode in at the speed of sound. My sonic boom was heard by all. Close enough to hear my phone play the theme to the Batman cartoon as I got a text message.
Hey, it was great meeting you. Thanks again for the music.
The butterflies I ate 3 days ago coiled around my central nervous system for me. Responding, playing it cool, was right out the window.
Oh, hey!
Hey!
And 3 words forged our path.
Got your text?
The next 3 words.
How are you?
3 overused words whose commonplace melted away to reveal an uncommon breadth of depth. The question reflected like a diamond, gathering its value and meaning from life's special moments.
And what started as a result of a breakfast I don't even remember eating turned into everything.
Conversations beginning. How are you? Echoing a smile embodying concern laced with love. And love is so apparent. When people believe they're in its presence, they always seem to ask some variation of the same question.
When did you know you were falling in love?
People don't realize that falling is
A process,
a journey,
not a destination.
Those conversations,
Those questions were our first steps. With each passing conversation, our vectors became more and more aligned and real, no longer existing in a state of dreams.
Been away for a while now. You've got me feeling like a child now. 'Cause every time I see your lovely face, I get the tingles in the silly place. It starts in my toes, then I crinkle my nose. Wherever I go, I always know that you make me smile. Please stay for a while now. Just take your
Our
time.
vectors, like sun rays, provided light to the very object of our desires.
Our
Love.
conversations were as sunlight, though unaware of its continued impact. Like light, our communication manifested into something measurable. Our first weekend
Was going to be beautiful, perfect, and full of unexpected moments.
Exhibit A, airport, Mike, flowers, and butterflies.
First impressions are like lightning. Beautiful or terrifying, usually striking the same people only once, and better not done while covered in water. I was blessed to have 2, and I was going to make them both count.
Exhibit B, our first date was my very own genie's lamp. I was granted 3 wishes, one for each day we got together. My first wish was to be surprised, a wish that was granted over and over, from our initial airport rendezvous to being greeted at the hotel with champagne, flowers, cupcakes, and a handwritten card from him.
You'd be surprised how many people are willing to go out of their way to feel like they're a part of love.
I loved it. It was like being on The Bachelorette. Except with only one guy, and he had all my date cards. And we weren't being stopped by video cameras except for that one in the back. My second wish was for great food. A wish that my mouth requested, but my stomach not quite ready to be received.
I granted that second wish at our own hidden gem, Stanton's Social. She wore a black dress with metal beads complemented with a smile that reflected against her porcelain skin, each stud on her dress shining like stars against her cosmic grace. I remember everything about that night, but nothing as clear as her eyes.
The sights and tastes of our evening were only overshadowed by the sound of our conversation and the feeling of our clasped hands. The sights were amazing. When our hands connected, there was an unspoken sense and feeling of safety. And for me, a new definition of home.
The night finishes in a blur of emotions and a kiss that created an equilibrium comprised of a sense of belonging every day since.
The next day, I inquired if we had anything planned for the day around the city.
Nope, just walking around.
I would later learn and link his love of surprises and playing cards. Both are not done in jest or simple fun, but as a competition, a man after my own heart.
In cards, I battle my opponents in the odds using math. For surprises, I battle time and emotions using chivalry, romance, and love.
We began that day much like we have most days since.
With kisses, coffee, and kisses. If we ever have a memoir, that's the title.
After coffee, we walked aimlessly and happened to find ourselves at Bryant Park. Who knew there were all these little shops and ice skating rink and coincidentally some of the best hot chocolate in the whole city.
Who knew?
Sitting at the ice skating rink, holding hands, was where it all started.
Ended.
Love,
Searching.
equilibrium.
Lies and broken hearts. This was it.
We aimlessly wandered to Grand Central, then up to Madison Avenue.
I can still remember where it happened. Between 53rd and 54th Street, the path we had seemed to just start on crumbled under me, and I lost my footing. Maybe it was the way I felt at home by her side. Maybe it was the way that her smile reflected the beauty in her heart. Or maybe it was just that she liked the vanilla half of the black and white cookie we just got from Junior's Bakery. Either way, my heart cashed in a winning lottery ticket that day. She probably assumed the cold was what was making my eyes water, but it was the wind rushing against my face as I fell in love with her.
He did have a twinkle in his eye as we walked, and a little glimmer that seemed to whisper the words, "Just wait." Then we happened upon Bonham's. There, a memento of the movie, which is one of my all-time favorites, Dorothy's Ruby Red Spurs. After that, we passed by all the shops heading uptown, stopping in Tiffany's flagship store. My first chance to surprise him with something. Go big or go home. Later, I surprised him with the Tiffany's bangle that I had bought him. He was so shocked and touched that he leaned up and said,
Thank you so much. I love it.
he put it right on and made the promise.
I won't take this off until there's a wedding band on my finger.
A promise, despite how cute and hopeful and uncomfortable it seemed at the time. He kept. My third wish was to experience and feel something different, or that I had had never had the opportunity to feel before. My third wish, though inevitable in our trajectory, was also the most difficult to deal with.
The next day, she had to go home. Her departure's nature was in stark contrast to the splendor and perfection of the weekend. Bittersweet hardly summed it up. She left with barely a goodbye.
I couldn't say goodbye. If I turned around and said it, he would see that my eyes were tearing up. As I rode in the cab to the airport, I noticed the bitter cold that I had seemed to be oblivious to all weekend.
My own tears came as I watched her, leaving me behind.
Leaving a trail of breadcrumbs made of exhaust fumes, tears, energy, and the warmth I had been filled with all weekend.
That was still
To this day,
the hardest goodbye we've ever had.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
With each breath we shared, we felt more alive. For the first time in my life, I wasn't taking steps from the beginning to the end, but instead from life to living.
And with our progression towards truly living our lives, life itself began approaching a state of balance.
Like the first time we met each other's mothers. Just the right amount of love,
Caring
avocados.
and meatballs,
Both mothers had a similar amount of maternal love.
matched with familial pride, and just the right amount
Of crazy. My first Mama Swanson encounter taught me that Southern hospitality is as real, filling, and rich as their cooking. It taught me that smiling really is contagious. All of her daughters seemed to catch hers. And lastly, it taught me that there is most certainly a right and a wrong way to cut an avocado. I've been doing it wrong the whole time. But what I learned pales in comparison to what I felt. I felt welcomed. I felt loved. And I felt home, a feeling foreign to me outside the walls of the house that I grew up in.
I remember my first trip to the Cohen house, and my first time meeting Mama Cohen. Italians have a lot in common with Southerners. Sure, our hair is a lot thicker. Our speech is a little slower and clearer. And our accents are just more appealing. The conversational differences were hardly noticeable until we sat down to eat. I just realized that some of the common tongues just don't translate. For example, you have common words we use like y'all versus you guys, or pop versus soda, both pretty normal. But apparently in Italian or New York English, the phrase, "Yes, please, I'd love some," translates to, "I will never eat again, so please make this count." I didn't come close to finishing my plate. Mama Cohen made sure to fill my tummy. I later understood that this is her clearest expression of love. And in her house, the glass is never seen as half empty. No, seriously. You'd have a better chance of having 2 full glasses and a side of pasta than a half-empty glass.
Our parents were the cartographers of our journey in this life, which is why I had to ask the map maker of the most beautifully charted structure my eyes will ever see if she made room on that map when she designed it for someone like me.
He asked my mom if he could be my boyfriend. And even though I thought it was a bit whimsical, I secretly loved it.
She said yes.
Maybe he was the key.
She put me in the key to her heart.
We saw each other as often as possible, playing cards most times we were together. But the next ace up Mike's sleeve was being held until Valentine's Day.
It was going to be perfect. Puzzles, poetry, and surprises. I would fly down and surprise her.
I knew he was coming.
I would send her a puzzle with our picture on it, correlating to a piece I wrote her.
The delivery guy never came.
The poem would be about us being the missing pieces to each other's puzzles.
We couldn't put the puzzle together.
I would get picked up from the airport and surprise Crystyl with flowers and get her ready for the dinner reservations I had made.
And I had to pick him up. It was very sweet but unnecessary. I just wanted to see him.
You see, the weather was bad on February 14th, 2014, and my flight was delayed. A lot. I wouldn't be able to get there in time. I wouldn't be able to get us to dinner. No one would be able to pick us up from the airport. Everything was ruined. I had to tell her I was coming.
I didn't know what was cuter or more endearing. The amount of planning he'd put into this day, or how upset that he got that it wasn't perfect. I told him, don't you worry, child. Heaven's got a plan for you. Don't you worry now. Whoa.
I told her I wasn't worried, and I wasn't. I was destroyed. I couldn't explain it to anyone either, but by not delivering her my approximation of heaven, I feared my angel might get homesick and leave.
This unnecessary but truly heartfelt sentiment would scroll the insignia of chivalry on this hopeless romantic's coat of arms, representing the genuine nature of our love.
And as time passed, we felt more alive and even more together.
Like the foundation of any structure, it has seen weathered storms, but it also witnessed sunshine and blue skies. One of those lovely days that further settled the structure of our love was my performance in Bat Boy. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend.
I'll help you carry on.
It was the first time I ever saw her perform, and the first time the Cohn and Swanson parents ever met. The foreshadowing was unknown but monumental. Our families met, Crystyl performed, love was abundant. When you mix all of these pieces together, fracture them and reflect them back, you could say it was being foreshadowed in a kaleidoscope?
I see what you did there. And
Like a kaleidoscope?
no, we're not gonna fall for it. It reminds me of the way you tricked me at the show. I was so caught off guard that I didn't even notice as I first said hi. My brain took a few extra seconds to register. Oh my goodness. Mike's parents flew down from New York City to see my show.
Surprise, completed. It helped me to further appreciate the relationship between our love of music and ourselves. It was a circle of support, allowing us to show each other how much we care.
We are always listening.
Or singing.
Something. We have a wide taste of music, but we have enjoyed sharing our appreciation of it. And each other's. Okay, can I just say something crazy?
I love crazy.
All my life has been a series of doors in my face. Then suddenly I bump into you.
I was thinking the same thing, because I've been searching my whole life to find my own place. And maybe it's the party talking or the chocolate fondue.
But with you, I see your face. And it's nothing like I've ever known before. Love is an open door. Love is an open door.
And so, we decided to share an open door together, and Crystyl moved up to New York City. It was an amazing time of new experiences.
Food,
Sightseeing,
food,
shows.
and more food. We ate so much great food.
Yes, and food.
We aren't your standard couple. We both are held together by intangible forces that we call trust,
respect,
honesty.
and communication.
But the common ground I cherish the most is the very direction, and she agrees, and the appreciation of life.
Vectors. For example, some of the things that have held us together throughout time was our constant love of music,
Food,
playing cards, and laughter. So much laughter, so pure, and typically at ourselves or each other. Like when she says something like,
Shizzo,
in public, then gets nervous that she just said that.
Shizzle. Or how he sometimes does this cute and funny baby talk and batting of his eyelids.
Crystyl, I don't do that. Like your shoulder dance.
And your hips. And we realize that as a whole, we are greater than the sum of our parts.
Despite being very emotional, I'm also mathematically inclined and oftentimes reflect in amazement that she and I are each one, but when we're combined, we're more like 3.14,
No.
159, 265, 3585. It's pi. It's infinite and incalculably valuable, like our love.
And what followed next on our journey together was just like any other relationship. We decided that we should take a vacation to the Dominican Republic. We'd invite both our parents so that they could get to know one another. Or so I thought.
So many things to plan, but traditional family values told me there was one of paramount importance. I would ask permission to let Crystyl's beauty light my sky for as long as I live.
Why you gotta be so rude? Don't you know I'm human too? Why you gotta be so rude? He's gonna marry me anyway.
I got this.
In the real world, my dad and Michael dropped me off at my hair appointment and were left to their wiles.
This was all about timing. So, I waited until the exact right time. Exactly when Crystyl closed the car door. I looked at John right in the eyes, and the steering wheel, and the windows, and I said, "Can I ask you a question?" Long story short, I asked, and he said yes. I told him I'd like to cook dinner for the family, so we picked up the fixins for mac and cheese and went home to celebrate over a Bloody Mary. We celebrated 8 times.
I could have guessed that. He came into the salon when he came to pick me up. It was like watching a Care Bear in a store full of rainbows and pillows. What were they doing?
I'm cooking dinner.
And so he did. I watched him measure out and stir ingredients: milk, cornstarch, butter, salt. The smell was intoxicating. So I decided to try his brew.
Babe, this doesn't taste quite right.
It's not done yet, Crystyl.
No, I think something's wrong. It's really sweet.
Well, duh, I didn't add the cheese yet.
I would just try it.
Crystyl!
He asked the cheese and the blue crab and then tries it. And he made a face like a baby eating a lemon. Now, imagine the baby made the lemon and was drunk. He was so upset. I couldn't understand why or begin to comprehend this specific motion and a moment in time for him. But more so, I really couldn't figure out what happened to the mac and cheese. It was really sweet. Upon looking at the ingredients, a wave of understanding rushed over me. There on the counter was the cornstarch, empty bags of cheese, pepper, and sweet and low. As I realized what happened, I didn't want to laugh because I knew that he was really
Mortified. I was beyond upset at the ruin momentous of the situation. And yes, drunk. So, I did what any self-respecting drunk man does when he makes a mistake that feels cataclysmic in nature.
He went upstairs and cried. I would only later find out why this little hiccup felt more like a life upheaval for him. All the time, it was settled, however, with a call, text to Lauren, a little reassurance, a little love, and taco cabana.
And there, I found 3 relative constants for supporting and uplifting me. Crystyl's reassurance, Crystyl's love, and Tex-Mex.
And your sister, sushi, cuddles, and honey.
Touche, okay. But there were important things for me to focus on. We had a trip coming up, both sets of parents, a tropical vacation, the woman I already knew I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. Yeah, this was going down. Foshizo. I spent a great deal of time navigating the rapids in this delta between decision and action.
This delta was 3 months long, though, and every time I would even seemingly get an inkling of where these winding waters were weaving, he would make waves.
This was to be the biggest surprise I would ever plan. So, yeah, maybe sometimes I'd start a fake argument to cut her premonitions off.
Sometimes, more like daily.
But our love remained and remains an ocean. Unerringly stable.
And we flew over an ocean for our first and last tropical vacation as girlfriend and boyfriend. The Dominican Republic was our cocoon.
Unlike the secrets held within a cocoon, our transformation from she and I to we was visible, tangible, and as always, hysterical.
The event was set up masterfully, like a Shakespearean play.
No, not Romeo and Juliet, more like a Midsummer Night's Dream. I learned 2 things that day. 1, things will always work out the way they're supposed to, luckily. With Crystyl, they tend to be beautiful and full of love.
1, always expect the unexpected. Hopeless romantics have a way of surprising you and catching you unsuspectingly, expectingly, making you fall more in love with them.
2, Mama Swanson is unquestionably the best body surfer I have ever seen, ever.
2, when I think something is up, it probably is.
I was so excited. I had to keep busy, or drinking, the whole day my parents were flying down to meet us with the ring.
I was so exhausted. My mom was out drinking me, out swimming me, and all around, out vacationing me.
All I wanted to do was ask her. It was going to be amazing. We were going to get pictures of the 6 of us on our first night together at a gorgeous spot called Serenity Beach.
I get up from my nap to Michael picking out a gorgeous dress for me to wear. I let my parents know to dress nicely as well for pictures. I told him he can go over by himself. I was really tired. I didn't really see what the big deal was, but he just...
Well, my words whisked out of my mouth like a calm ocean breeze.
He insisted I go. It was our first night together with both sets of parents, and we had reservations at the nice restaurant.
Inside, I was a mess. I've been waiting for this moment for months, so long that my head was about to explode.
Although I voiced my opinion that the sun would in fact rise again tomorrow, and perhaps that might be a better choice instead of tonight, Mama Swanson saved the day by declaring, "We are getting pictures tonight, Crystyl Mary Swanson." Now stop it.
I have never wanted to high-five someone more in my life.
This should have been my first clue.
Let's paint this picture. Crystyl, beautiful dress. Michael, button up. Linda, beautiful dress. John, slacks and a button up. Mom, sweats. Dad, shorts and a t-shirt.
Clue number 2.
We were in a rush, no time for them to change course in time.
We get to the beach where the sun is getting ready to set. Michael sees a spot he wants to go for pictures, so we start walking towards it.
Every time we look back at our parents, they all act like we're playing freeze tag or that we don't know they're following us.
Clue number 3. We get to the spot and pose for a picture. Michael tells everyone,
I want a cute picture like this. This is
This is
so
so silly.
cute.
and as if a great secret were being shown to me, I'm faced out to sea to stare at a very small island.
I know what to do.
I know what I should do. Near, far, wherever you are, I believe
Crystyl?
that... I'm trying to make a joke. I will go on.
Hey, Crystyl?
Seriously. Open the door.
Crystyl?
What?
People claim the most beautiful words to hear is someone tell you, I love you. The most beautiful sound I have heard until today is when after some time of hugging and emoting, Crystyl looked at me in the eyes and she said, yes. You see, I love you has different meanings for different people. The word love, so powerful but so vague in its comprehension. When you ask someone if they plan to one day make a promise that they will love you and stand by your side for as long as you shall live, those words become the second most beautiful words you will ever hear.
Yes. The weight of those promises have helped to balance us, keep us steady, and allow us to be grounded through many interesting times.
Like when we vacationed with my family for that week and you donated your bathing suit bottoms to the ocean.
Or when you came to Texas for Christmas and we realized that you really don't know how to pick out a Christmas tree.
Thank you, Tyler.
Or that, even coming from a large Italian and Jewish family, having my whole family in one house with all gifts being exchanged, even you need to take a step outside for some fresh air.
So true. It was so much fun. It was so much excitement. It was so muching.
It was at the beginning of 2015 that I decided I wanted a little piece of home up in New York City. And Mike, well, Mike loves cuddling and dogs. And so we brought Honey up to live with us.
It's been a tough transition for her.
As well as it's been for us. Honey has done many things to solidify our relationship, level out and cement us together. But none more important than making obvious a theory that we have had of our love.
We have stated that living objects have vectors of equilibrium.
We are most certainly alive, living objects.
As we've shown, the direction of our lives are most certainly heading in the same place. Vectors.
For humans, the thought of harmony is very subjective. But to animals, harmony is simply a matter of instincts.
It would be safe to say that a dog would be a great judge of when someone or something is perfect.
And objectively as we can be, we're all confident in validating the balance we have found with each other and our love. Equilibrium.
Our theory of love is no different than that of Einstein's and gravity.
Though you can't see it and you can't touch it, it might not always be on the forefront of your mind, but you can always feel its impact.
And as Einstein had the Institute of Advanced Study to validate his theory, we have the state of Texas.
And our good and dear friend and personal Cupid, Curtis.
So, we asked Curtis to close the loop he had opened for us and officiate our wedding. Starting the same way I did when deciding to ask Crystyl to marry me. Mr. Swanson, will you please join us?
With permission, I so ask. Who gives this woman to be married to this man?
Your mother and I do.
Thank you. And with the blessing, would the attendants please join us? Crystyl and Michael, today we celebrate one of life's greatest moments, give recognition and praise to a theory of love, a theory created in love, by love, to show the worth and beauty of your love as you join together in the vows of marriage. Michael, do you take Crystyl to be your wife?
I do.
Do you promise to love, honor, cherish, protect her, forsaking her for all others, and holding only unto her?
I do.
Do you promise to have and to hold her, for better or for worse, for richer or poor, in sickness and in health, from this day forward until death do you part?
I do.
Now, Crystyl, it's your turn.
And if you were wondering earlier why Crystyl saying yes to me, to marry me, was the second most amazing sound that I'll ever hear, it's because this is the first.
Crystyl, do you take Michael to be your husband?
I do.
Do you promise to love, honor, cherish, and protect him, forsaking all others and holding only unto him?
I do.
Do you promise to have and to hold him, for better or for worse, for richer or poor, in sickness and in health, from this day forward until death do you part?
I do.
I don't think anyone here would find surprise in the fact that you both have decided to write your own vows. So who's going to go first?
I will go first.
It's a lot of memorizing. Michael, I cherish you as you are, loving who you are now and who you are to become. I promise not to get mad when you add another pair of shoes to your unofficial shoe closet in the living room. I will support you through the hard times and the good times with unwavering love and without hesitation, even when you wear your Batman costume. I will love you unconditionally with encouragement in times of joy and comfort and in times of sorrow. I vow that I will stand by you, not only with support, but also by always encouraging you to be the best version of yourself. I promise to disagree with you at times, since I know that my stubborn nature is actually why you're marrying me. I promise to walk by your side, even when you do weird dances in public. I promise to laugh with you, continue telling jokes that don't make sense, and laughing really loudly at them. In addition, I promise to not take life too seriously. I promise to cry with you, but only on our wedding day. As we all know, I'm not a crier. Michael, you are my best friend. I will love you. I will love you when we are together and when we are apart. I will support your dreams and respect our differences. To love you and be by your side for the rest of our lives.
That's going to be tough to follow. So for anyone who knows me, they know that I'm a writer. I did not write vows. I wanted to speak to you plainly, and I wanted to speak to you from my heart here and now, so you knew that this wasn't contrived. I will always love you. I promise to love you with every fiber of my being. I promise that my legs will only walk me to you. I promise that my arms will only embrace you and hold your hands. I promise that my heart will only beat for you. And I promise to be there to support you emotionally, mentally, and physically every day for the rest of my life. I can't promise you where we're going to be in 50 years. I can't promise you how things are going to turn out. All I can promise you is that no matter where you are, that's where I'll be. I love you.
Crystyl and Michael, insomuch as the two of you have agreed to live together in matrimony and have promised your love for each other by these vows, by the authority invested in me, well, by the two of you. Okay, let's do that. We have rings. Here we go. Michael, with this ring,
With this ring,
I thee wed.
I thee wed. It'll be good there.
Other hand. This is the best part, everybody. Here you go. Crystyl. Michael,
With this ring, I thee wed.
That was better than I did.
okay. Crystyl and Michael, insomuch as the two of you have agreed to live together in matrimony and have promised your love for each other by these vows, by the authority vested in me, actually by the two of you, and the state of Texas, I now declare you husband and wife. Congratulations, you may kiss the bride.
And like all great stories, ours must come to an end, although it is just the beginning. We have lived the individual tales that collectively created the prequel to the greatest love story we'll ever know.
The one we get to live together. Thank you all for watching our story begin.
You look so wonderful in your dress. I love your hair like that. The way it falls on the side of your neck, down your shoulders and back. We are surrounded by all of these lights and people who talk.